So just a few weeks ago, we shared some of our top under the radar picks. And if you've been keeping up, you may already know, but some of those picks took off with one hitting a massive 500% gain literally the day after we covered it. Since that video, we've watched Bitcoin exceed now almost everyone's expectation, rallying hard from around $60,000 and pushing inches away from its previous high at around $73,000. Now, with the election behind us, the market has taken a breath, cooling down in the face of this next chapter of what I predict could even be the start to the second leg up. Now, with all this craziness happening, Bitcoin about to break its all-time high, I've been keeping myself pretty busy, and one of the main highlights of all that was turning a fresh $3,000 to over $100,000 in just a month. The point to drive home is that there is massive potential for anyone looking to make money in this market. I always figured if you want to be a millionaire in crypto, you got to be a billionaire first. What I've learned, especially in the most recent months though, is that it really isn't the case. Aside from our community members in Kaizen turning even $5,000 to upwards of $185,000 or more, or even I myself turning my measly small 3K into a six-figure portfolio, I've learned that if you're willing to just put in the work, educate yourself, manage the risk, and ride with the right plays, you'll also be able to find success. Now, in the off chance you're not up for all that, because I know it's a lot of work, I'm here for you. I'm here to break my back so that you won't have to break yours. So here's what we'll cover in today's video. Number one, we'll kick things off with my updated outlook for Bitcoin and where I think we are in this cycle. Next, I'll share with you the biggest emerging narratives that I see brewing right now so that you can find the next 10 to even 100x altcoin gem. Lastly, I've got several new plays to share, some that are high risk to high reward. I know there are a ton of degenerates watching the channel that love things like that, to even more conservative plays depending on your own appetite. So first things first, where are we within the state of the market? So let's talk about Bitcoin's trajectory and how the sentiment in the market has felt over the course of the last few weeks. Well, like I said, we got really close to hitting previous all-time highs. And if you pull this out to the all-time chart, and it looks like we were just a hair under from hitting the previous all-time high. So the sentiment in crypto is getting a lot better from where it was over the course of the last few months. But it seems like right now we haven't gotten that full force of retail traders and people feeling is a true bull run just yet. I think there's a good shot that we could still see $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of quarter one. I was a bit more conservative. We could still see $125,000 towards the end, at least 2025. Now, the reason, number one, the S&P 500 has been having one of its best years over the last 12 months. So far, they're up about 32%. And most companies within the S&P 500 are all doing fantastic. This is led, of course, by a lot of the tech companies, a lot of the new AI companies, but even a lot of the quote-unquote boring blue chip stocks have still performed pretty well. Now, look, there is a strong correlation between the S&P 500 and how Bitcoin performs. Typically, when stocks rally, Bitcoin often follows suit next. This connection is often called the wealth effect. And it's when an investor makes money within the stock market and their assets rise, investors will typically feel wealthier enough to then look for other opportunities like crypto. This year was especially clear during the last bull market, where the stock market soared from 2020 through 2021. After we had the massive dip coming from the pandemic, we then had stocks starting to rally pretty hard. It was really shortly after that when we saw Bitcoin going on its parabolic leg up. Now, while I do want to make note, the S&P 500 and crypto don't always move in exact harmony, there's definitely a link. So when big money flows into the stock market, there's often a spillover that happens and comes into crypto. With that said, Bitcoin still has its ups and downs, and it's driven by crypto-specific events and trends. So while a strong S&P 500 can be a positive sign for Bitcoin, keep in mind crypto still usually has its own rhythm, which makes this market even more exciting and unique. So point number two on why I am so bullish on Bitcoin, because we have more rate cutting up for 2025. So when the Fed started raising rates in 2002, this is the exact moment that the S&P 500 and Bitcoin saw significant corrections. This period also underscored the increasingly linked performance of traditional and crypto markets, highlighting how important macroeconomic policies really are. Taking a look at your screen, you'll notice the 2 times that the federal government decided to raise its rates. It didn't do much to the market. It was right after that we had an explosive growth with the S&P 500, but it was shortly after that when the S&P 500 was already starting to come down, what really sealed the deal was the federal government adding additional rate hikes from the period of 2022. So in theory, if we just apply this very simple principle that when rate cuts come down, we should be able to see a bit more money getting loosened up within the markets. So according to JP Morgan Chase, they believe that the federal government projects about 4 more 25-point cuts totaling about 100 basis points for the year of 2025. Between all of the health economy and still a variety of other factors, war and other macroeconomic indicators like interest rates, tariffs, jobs reports, these are all going to be equally as important. But the main takeaway here is this: while rate cuts often point to slowing growth, the federal government is generally still upbeat about the wider economy, especially in light of a strong, albeit gradually cooling labor market. Now, for number 3, the fear and greed index. If you've been investing for any period of time, I'm sure you've heard of this quote: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. This basically means anytime we see extreme greed in the market, this is a time where you would want to consider selling. And if you see extreme fear, this would be a better buying opportunity. We have seen indications and times where we have seen fear in the market and we've seen greed. And anytime we've been in this green mode, even for just a few days, that's when we saw that market pull back. The good news though out of all this is that we're nowhere near the greed or the extreme greed right now. Taking a look at the Wall Street cheat sheet, psychology of a market cycle, if of where we are at within this last year, I'd actually consider us being much early on in maybe even the disbelief rally stage. This is because I just know real sentiment with a lot of investors and even community members is that there is still so much skepticism in investing into these markets. Following disbelief though is going to be hope. After hope is optimism, and I believe if we're able to break out of this, that's when we can get that next leg up, and that's when we would be in the euphoric stage. And this is where you'd really want to be careful about how longer you want to stay in the market. Reason number 4 why I think the market is still looking pretty good is that Bitcoin right now, in terms of its Google trend, or just how often it's getting searched all over the world, is at a pretty low point. Even with Bitcoin above $60,000 to even $70,000, depending on when you were watching this video, we're still sitting at a measly 17 to 20, which is just a fraction of where the hype was at in the last 2021 bull. Point number 5 here is timing. Timing is everything. And if you take a look at the data, this is what's most impressive. Look, 2012, Bitcoin was in its recovery year. It was shortly after that in 2013, Bitcoin started its rally up. This was when it broke $1,000 for the first time. Fast forward a little year, going into 2016, this was another recovery year. Then boom, as soon as we got into 2017, this was its massive bull run where then Bitcoin was climbing up, broke to $2,000 to even $4,000. And towards the end of the year, it had at one point at the end of the year hit even $17,800. Okay, fast forward a little bit, 2020, 2021. I'm sure some of you guys were in the market at this time. 2020 was a recovery year. The year after that was a massive bull run. 2021, we saw Bitcoin breaking that all-time high, and this is when everyone was all about crypto. So if we follow this pattern, we can assume that 2024 was our recovery year, and historically, 2025 should be the next massive bull run. Timing is so within crypto, and we have seen time in and time out just things moving in a certain pattern or a certain cycle. This is why using data and looking back at the history, a future of what the next course of action could be. Now, with all that said, I just want to remind you guys just how early we still are within the crypto space. If you compare the price of Bitcoin at $1.37 trillion and crypto at 2.34, this includes all the random altcoins that we normally talk about. This here is just still a fraction of the broader market class, where even stock markets is sitting at close to $60 trillion. The US dollar is circulating at 21 trillion. Even precious metals like gold, it's at 17.8 trillion. But here, we're not even breaking double digits within the $1 trillion market cap. So assuming S&P 500 continues to rally, Bitcoin continues, rate cuts happen, how could we actually see the next bull run really beginning to develop? Well, one popular chart that we've been following for about 4 or 5 years has been the altcoin cycle. But one point I want to reiterate is just the fact that every time market conditions change, the way that we see money going going into different narratives or different altcoins popping off and seeing what right now crypto investors prioritize, I don't think we're going to see the flow of money follow exactly what the path of altcoin season has done in previous cycles. Now, things are looking a lot different. This is because I believe the market has matured. We're still getting a lot of younger investors, but they're coming in with more crypto knowledge than they were in 2021. And most people already know that when you're coming into crypto, you're looking at high risk, high reward plays rather than something safe. Because in one case, nothing in crypto is actually really safe. There are more creative plays with larger market cap sizes, but if you wanted to go for a safer play, you might as well just buy something within the stock market. Regardless, I still believe in the overall growth of crypto in the long term, and I believe the fundamentals are still going to remain. This means when Bitcoin pumps, the whole market's going to get a boost, and we still see a flow of money, maybe not going exactly linear to Ethereum, then other large caps, and then other small caps, but instead, we're just going to see Bitcoin, then money getting trickled down into all the other altcoins in a similar time frame. All right, so here's what's next. I've been watching these trends closely, and I believe if you want to be ahead of the curve, it starts with getting ahead of the narrative. In crypto, narratives are just big stories or themes that dominate the market, and it shapes where investors are looking to put their money into next. Now, in every market, we have certain narratives that pick up, bringing attention and hype. We've had DeFi, we've had NFTs, even the whole meme coin narrative that we had with Doge, Shiba Inu, Pepe. These are all examples of where we can see certain markets within a market gaining hype. From there, if you have a position in early before everyone else gets in, you're going to be able to make a pretty solid bag. Now, right now, there are a few narratives that I haven't seen anyone yet talk about, and I believe could be game changers in the coming months. Each of these themes have unique fundamentals and a lot of upside potential if they do play out. Behind these narratives, I start with where is the trend leading to? What are things that have not yet happened that could happen, and what are some bigger problems that are just obvious? So let's start with the problem side, then let's go into more of the theoretical narratives that you can line your positions up for. One of the biggest problems that I've realized happening though is the fact that we have so many projects building so many different things that we now have all these different chains. And if you're trying to send someone as simple as, hey, Billy, I just want to send you Ethereum, you then got to figure out, okay, which network am I going to send it on? Now, if I want to use this Ethereum to buy something on Solana, I got to swap and bridge. At this point in time, we have multiple layer 2 chains, but we have no unified cross-chain solution. Think about it like this, the idea of the internet. When we hop on the internet, we just use this, and then you have all different applications. You have your emails, your social media, everything. It's on the internet, but you don't have to think about, oh, do I need to use the buy internet or the dub internet? There's not all these different options that make you hesitant and rethink what is the best type of internet to use. Now, I believe this here is the opportunity is that if you're able to bet on whatever chain that you think is going to do the best, you're going to have a greater chance of succeeding in the market by buying the right plays. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in this cycle or the next, but I do think there is going to be eventually one chain that rules them all, or there is going to be another unified solution that seamlessly bridges everything. And this is where the concept of interoperability plays like Chainlink or Cosmos Atom from the previous bull run was really popular. So there's too many chains to cover. Here are at least 7 of the chains that you should keep an eye out on, starting from number 1, Base Chain. Here in the US, and they've done a phenomenal job of being able to industry further in action. Base is pretty much decentralized, still very bullish on it. Optimism here is another chain. They refer to themselves as the super chain. This is what actually Coinbase used to build Base on, but I still prioritize Base just because I see more functionality and use case from Coinbase's entire ecosystem. From here, we have Unichain. This is more recent. Uniswap came out with their own chain. We haven't seen too much use case just yet. Now, what I love about Unichain and Uniswap is just that this is the preferred DEX that everyone still uses to get into some of these plays that aren't listed on primary exchanges. Following ApeChain, this here is related to the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Yuga Labs narrative. Now, I think they really fumbled the bag in 2021, but they are very well funded with other VCs, and I believe They have the resources to where if they did want to make the comeback happen, they are a viable player within the space. This is one project that I personally still wouldn't sleep on. From here, we have World Chain. Let's also not forget about Blast, also known as the full stack chain. And then most recently, what came out was Ink Chain by Kraken. This one here is interesting because they just came out their test net and their main net is going to launch in Q1 of 2025. So they don't even have a token yet. It's still very speculative, but just like how we were one of the first movers on the whole base narrative and ecosystem, I see you guys being able to do that also with Ink Chain if they're able to execute to any similar degree than what Coinbase has done. Now, the chains that we can make the most money from, I still think that's easily Base. That's because number one, I believe we can see more massive growth potential. Base hasn't been around for many cycles or even many years. They've only began to build relatively fast over the course of 2024, so less than a year. Now we've already seen several Base related plays like Aerodrome, even Moonwell's been pumping recently, that has been able to capture a good amount of market share. The second reason why I like the whole Base narrative is that unlike other chains where they rely heavily on VC capital or even just a lot of KOLs to promote, Base has had more of a decentralized organic approach. This here means that projects on Base tend to grow on real interest and demand rather than artificial hype, which makes it a more level playing field for retail investors. Not only that, we've mentioned this several amount of times, but Base is developed and supported by Coinbase, which is the largest publicly traded crypto exchange. And this is a huge advantage from both the infrastructure and potential visibility that Coinbase offers. So with all that said, well, Brian, what are the Base plays? What are the next things that can do what Aerodrome did? Well, here's a list of all the plays that we've had exposure to, things that I'm also still on the lookout for. Obviously, Base is coming down to a pretty solid price. I think anytime we see Base under $1, that is a fantastic zone where you could be dollar cost averaging into it. Earlier this year, had an incredible rally where over the $2.16. Now, I believe when the market Aerodrome competing for at least $5 to $10 going into 2025. This means if you bought in at a price right now, there is still a possibility of a 5 to 10x happening. Aside from Aerodrome, there are still a ton of plays that are also listed on Coinbase. This here is good because if you want your bags to really pump, a lot of the times when retail decides to get back in, they're not going to know how to fumble around with a decentralized exchange and then going on Coinbase wallet to then swap it on Uniswap, and they see the fees and they don't really want to get in. A lot of the times when you want to have crazy pumps in the market from fresh new market participants, this means it needs to be listed on a trusted tier 1 exchange already like Coinbase. Usually projects will also pump towards the middle half or even the late half of a bull run. So things like Propy, TrueFi, Rari, these are a few projects that are listed on Coinbase, but over the course of the last 6 months or so, they haven't really been doing that great. So we pulled Propy out as an example on the all-time chart. This looks crazy right here. When it got released back in 2018, had a massive pump, went up to about $5, then it came crashing back down. Then it had another pump earlier this year, boom, came crashing back down. Then we had another pump, okay, going up to about $3. Luckily, we made the buy alerts. A ton of our members made a ton of money on this call too. And right now it came crashing back down. So this is in comparison to where we are with market cycles. You'll notice that this peak that we have is going to line up pretty well with the price action of Bitcoin. So this was pumping first part of the cycle. This pumped during the latter half of the 2021 cycle. Then boom, when the markets were really picking back up, Propy also went on that next parabolic run. So the mistake that I see a lot of investors making is that they'll tend to FOMO in when everything's already pumping, but you want to look at these more quiet, haven't done much yet, and learn to place your bets. Now, a good comparison is you get invited to one of the biggest parties of the year, you go to a wedding, and no one is there. You look at your watch and you know p.m. instead of 5 p.m. So you got to wait about 3 hours for everyone else to show up. There's nothing necessarily bad about that, but in the beginning, it's going to feel lonely. You're going to feel like you made the wrong choice showing up to the venue this early.
If you guys want to learn how to invest, listen up, and you're going to learn. I invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I use Wealthsimple to invest.
And I felt this way with a lot of these projects, which then ended up having 5 to 10x or more gains. And as most of you guys know, these are the plays that have helped me make millions so far this year within crypto. All right, so aside from all that, there is still going to be a ton of high risk plays here that you can take a look at. As we mentioned in the beginning of the video, Alien Base already took off. That had a parabolic run. This also came down quite a bit since then, but it looks like it's also been able to hold support at around the 30-cent level. When looking at some of these plays, I do also like finding plays that have about $50 million market cap or less. Now, one of the plays that we recently entered within Kaizen, right around this level, is actually when I discovered it. We made the call out for it, and our members were able to easily generate at the peak about a 2 to 3x was Talent. I think Talent still has some potential here for another leg up, but just like with everything in crypto, it's important if you do buy in and you're already up 2 to 3x, it's okay to always take out profits. Now, one play that has not been doing well is Truflation. You'll notice that this has Truflation new, and that's because they got hacked. Even in my own portfolio, I managed to lose about $300,000 of my money here, but I still have high hopes for this. Truflation provides real data on what inflation looks like in the decentralized world. Although their token has not been doing well, the use case on this is still very strong. I believe over time we're going to be able to see this recover, but even now, look at the market cap. It says $0. This whole project's been a mess, and what I've realized within the crypto space too is that you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But if you're able to stand strong and hold your strong convictions and you don't get too greedy towards the top, my biggest gainers have always made up for my biggest losers. I've seen this also happen with a ton of people who have invested into crypto for a long time. So this year is just a reminder to even for me being within crypto, which now feels like it's my third cycle, you're never going to get it all right. But what's most important is if you're able to stick through it, you can still come out making tremendous amount of money. Now, there's a few more plays here that are extremely low market cap. So I'm going to give the whole warning: high risk, high reward. Do not ever invest into crypto more than you're willing to lose. Do not ever follow me blindly into any trade. And just know that crypto is insanely volatile. But compared to traditional markets, if you're able to stomach that volatility, you have insane amount of upside. So with that said, what I think is going to be the next emerging market is going to be AI agents. According to this report here, AI agents coming years is expected from a $5 billion market to over $47 billion by 2030, compounding an annual growth rate of over 44%. There was another report done here by Grand View Research, and they had a very similar number too. They expected this industry to grow at 42.8% from 2023 to 2030. So if you take a look at this chart here, you'll notice the increasing trend. We are still very early into this space, and over the last few weeks we've actually been seeing how fast this space can develop. So here's my whole take on AI. I go through these 4 unique phases. So phase number 1 is that we're going to see internet personalities like we did with Truth Terminal, which was the token GOAT, which shows how powerful and how fast everything is speeding up. This Twitter account here is not a real person. This is actually an AI agent that is just tweeting all the time. Basically, in a nutshell, they started to promote a token called GOAT. GOAT started popping off. It's called Goatsius Maximus, and it has a $590 million market cap. At the time of filming this video, it's sitting at about 60 cents, but we even saw this reaching at about 83 cents. And this was just a few days before my wedding when I saw it around the 18, 19 cent mark. I'm not gonna lie, this one hurt quite a bit, especially because there was another pullback where a buying opportunity entered exactly at where we had spotted it, but I had still held off. Now, instead, I always like looking for the next opportunities. It's not always going to be derivatives, but even something the narrative can shift into. I'll cover exactly what those look like, but I want to finish where I think the next 4 phases are. So phase 1, this early personality development. This is internet personalities, distinct voices, and AI getting more social engagement, having entertainment, or being able to share other information. Phase 2 is the idol area. Now, this here reminds me of something from like the Old Testament. You have Moses and the golden calf, and right now I'm actually seeing this happen in the early stages of the modern world, where people are now forming attachments or even idolizing certain AI agents. Now, if there's anything that I know, humans tend to act on impulse, and we tend to follow the same emotions regardless of the mistakes that our future versions or our wiser selves have made, humans still end up going through the whole cycle regardless. So I believe we are going to see an effect of this. And we've already seen it with projects like Virtual's Protocol, where even in the last month, they've pumped 578%. This is something, by the way, if you guys have been following our channel, we mentioned this way early on in 2024. We mentioned this before this pump here. I had made, I think it was either 30 or 60 grand from just buying early, selling, and it pretty much went into hibernation over the last few months. But then it had this parabolic run. This is because AI agents as a narrative, it took off. Virtual is related to the whole base ecosystem, and this is where you can check out some of these new AI agents in the phase 2 in the whole golden calf idolization era. So to show you, if you enter the app here, it's crazy. You can find an AI reel. It's generating real profit across phase 2 in the whole.
This video is a lot more talking than I thought. If I knew it was this much talking, I wouldn't have put it on, honestly, but it is what it is.
Different platforms. And from here, people started to buy up this AI agent called Luna. Now, to buy Luna, that also helped the price of Virtual. And within a very short period of time, this rallied over the course of days and hitting 500% to even 800% in total gains. Now, if you bought in early enough towards this peak right here, you would have done a 3x from the time it was at 1 cent. And even now, it's still sitting at 9 cents. So I believe we're going to have more projects just like this. And if you want to look for more of those next AI plays where they've literally done a 3,000% over the course of a week, these are a few that I'm looking at. So Project 89 is very low in market cap, but these are all extremely high risk. Keep that in mind. These are a few that just continue to pop up and fit within this AI agent narrative. There is a community behind this. There is some extensive lore that the devs working on the project for over the last 6 years that you can see from this tweet here. Not only that, but there's a bunch of smart followers and traders with their Twitter account. Not only that, but Mark Andreessen also followed the project a little while ago. This here is the owner of one of the largest VC capital firms. And at the time of filming this video, I mean, this is at $7 million market cap. If it gets to anywhere near where Goatius Maximus got, you're going to be seeing some pretty solid returns. Now, I think a lot of this stuff is extremely early. We have EAC, another project here. Catgirl, also related to this whole AI agents narrative. And there's another project here called Deepworm, which I was feeling pretty good on. All of these projects, like this one here.
Okay, guys, so if you guys pay attention, he's giving you the insights on the things that he's investing in. He says he uses Base, which I don't know if it's his chart platform or if it's, he says it's a part of Coinbase, so maybe it's an extension of Coinbase. So it's either a platform you could invest in or it's an extension of Coinbase just to see the charts in more depths, whatever it may be. I used to use Coinbase. I didn't have a good running with them, so I stopped using them. This guy's been using Coinbase. I now use Crypto.com and I use Wealthsimple. I believe this guy also uses Crypto.com. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does, honestly. And yeah, he started off with not a lot. He started off as a college student. I think he just kept putting money, and then he had a 10,000. Then he kept putting money. Then he had 100K. Then he kept putting money, and investments were doing good, right? He was in early on everything, so he made a lot of gains. This guy is one of my favorite people to watch his videos. I haven't watched his videos in a while, but I love watching his videos. His videos are amazing, and yeah. So if you guys would love to learn how to invest, just comment down below, let me know, and I'll teach you guys how to invest in depth, and I'll break it down to an easier process for you guys. My first advice for those of you guys who are serious and want to start on your own is a good platform to use is Wealthsimple. If you want to make money off of Wealthsimple and you haven't signed up yet, you can contact me and I will show you how to make $25. And when you first sign up, you will make $25 immediately when you sign up. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know and I will deal with you guys. Okay, let's continue the video so we can get it done and move on to the next video, which can be, we'll see.
Here, it's at $5 million market cap. If it's able to get to 10, 20, 30, 40 million market cap, there is still some upside. And something with Worm too, it was able to break to 1 cent. Currently, it's at just a fraction of that. Now, there's going to be a lot of derivatives here. These are not long-term holds that I recommend at all. I actually don't recommend any of this, but if you want to get exposure to any of the high-risk, high-reward plays, a lot of them are going to be on decentralized exchanges. So with a lot of these, I actually ended up buying on an app called Moonshot. You can just download it from the App Store. I'll have a link down below in the description if you also want to check it out. But just think of Robinhood for meme stocks on Solana. Very easy. You could literally use Apple Pay. There's no KYC, and I was able to buy a lot of these meme coins within just a few seconds. Now, pulling out just a little bit, we got phase 1, phase 2 done. Phase 3, phase 4, what's that going to look like? Well, phase 3 is where I believe we are headed next. This is where we're going to start seeing AI agents move from being internet personalities to now highly functional assistants with a wide range of applications, whether it's in business, personal life, and beyond. This is where we begin to start seeing AI agents have the ability to help us in our work, similar to what ChatGPT or Claude AI has been able to do over the last few weeks. Now, I've incorporated AI into my workflow entirely, and it is absolutely insane just how good this technology is getting. So whether it's in a few weeks or a few months, I believe AI agents, yes, they're going to be able to control your screen, your internet, but they're going to be able to help you make a lot of decisions. So even having your own assistant, if you never thought you could do that, well, with AI, everyone is going to be able to have their own assistant in the near future. If you're an assistant for someone else, you're about to have your own assistant to help you being an assistant. It's going to be crazy. As the phases also begin to develop, I believe these idle AI agents are what they do, and then they're going to get their personality. This is where phase 4 comes in. And if you ever watch that movie like iRobot or just any Avengers movie, you got Jarvis, right? This is the direction that we're headed in. Look, even a few months ago, Elon Musk was showcasing his Tesla robots. If you had asked me that this would be the future in just a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. This is happening as we speak. And it's in phase 4 where these AI agents are not only functionally advanced, but also socially aware and perhaps even emotionally sophisticated. At this time, I think AI agents are going to be integrated into most people's daily lives as companions, problem solvers, or even, like I said, more personal assistants. And look, as crazy as it sounds, I know this video is going a little off topic, but humanoids.
You can spend and send money overseas with no hidden fees. And it could be to 3 times cheaper than major banks. Visit wise.com or download the Wise app today.
Wise to invest in foreign currencies, and yeah, I made some good investments. I should check them out right now, honestly.
Don't think it's out of the box. The whole point I want to make is that AI agents are moving very fast, and in applications within crypto finance, DeFi, I believe this is where crypto's use case is really going to shine. So out of all that, if you don't want to mess around with these phase 2, golden calf, idle, degenerative, you can look towards what I'd say is a bit more safer infrastructure token plays. Starting with Tau, BitSensor, think about this as being the NVIDIA of crypto. It's at a massive market cap. Now, over the last few months, we did see Tau rallying pretty hard, where over the course of a few weeks, it literally went from $229 to over $730 earlier this year. Now, we had another massive leg up. It went from $234 going to $656, where right now it looks like it's consolidating in between that price action of about $450. If this dips anywhere towards the previous support levels, I think it's going to be an insta buy. I think that's free money, just assuming that the market conditions are still also ripe. FET is another artificial intelligence play here. We've been talking about Fetch since the beginning of this year as well. Looks like they're still making some more developments, and they are well integrated with Meta, Gemini, OpenAI, a ton of these other larger companies, Notion, NVIDIA. So I love when there are crypto companies that are more tied in with use case from real traditional world companies. Taking a look at the charts, they actually had a massive rally going up towards even over $3 at one point, and they're sitting at $1.24. If it reaches the previous all-time high, you have at least a 2x upside here. Render is another play, another think of NVIDIA or the Apple of crypto type play. When they rally, they also rally very hard. It's currently sitting at $4. So there's a 2 to 3x multiple. The problem with this project is that market cap is also very high, similar to Tau. But I wouldn't discredit this because it is available on Coinbase and a lot of other tier 1 exchanges, meaning when retail hop in, they're probably not going to be able to figure out how to get into some of these DEX pairs. So look, when you are buying into a high market cap coin like this, during the peak of the bull run, it doesn't matter if it's high market cap or not. I just think there's going to be so much volume coming into the crypto space, especially if we're projecting a $5 to even $7 trillion market cap for the broader crypto market, and you're making these swaps on Uniswap. I think there is more potential for upside here because in the instance that we see Render, FET, or Tau making another push to its previous all-time high, really need more money coming into the crypto space. Okay, aside from that, there are a few more projects. Okay, Spec, we talked about this in our last video as well. Over the last month, up over 22%, but towards recently at $12, sitting at $9, the all-time charts, it doesn't look terrible. Bad. Now, there are two plays here that are very low in market cap. 01 Labs, DAI. This here allows innovators to build more decentralized AI applications. So this is an infrastructure play. Instead of trying to bet on which AI token or AI agent is going to be a collection of all the different top performing stocks in the US, this is one way that you can get more. That's by buying more of an infrastructure play. So 01 Labs, it cap at the time of me filming this video, 62 cents. I don't know why this project here could retest previous all-time highs either. It was able to at least stay above 1. So you have the chance of 2x here. And then the next project I'm looking at is Chasm or Chasm, however you want to say it. But this popped up over the last few days, sitting at sub $10 million market cap. All right. At one point, it got to 14 cents. This still seems very early. The only problem is that the fully diluted market cap, it's at $91 million. So you got to look at the unlocks. You got to look at the token distribution to see how much the buying pressure could be if early investors do decide to hold off. Now, at the time of me filming this video, like right now, I don't have any exposure to even half of these plays here. There's just too many great things that I'm seeing in the market, and I don't want to spread myself too thin. But if I were to buy something again, it would actually be this project here. I think in terms of the risk versus reward upside, it's there. It's just we got to do our full due diligence, and you got to do it too. Look through the project, make sure things are looking good, go through the social media, spend your time in the weeds doing the work rather than just insta buying something that I myself talk about on this video. Now, at the end of the day, your investment is your investment. I'm not going to tell you your thesis. Maybe you just doing this and watching YouTube videos and insta buying is the way that you've been able to flip a $1,000 portfolio into a couple millions. So if it's working, you don't need to change it. But this is what I would at least recommend for any investor who's trying to do this the right way. With that said, I think Luna by Virtuals is going to have another pump too. It seems like it's consolidating right now, and it seems like the broader AI agent narrative has also cooled down a bit. The way to know this is by using a few tools like Kaido. We use that for our mindshare observations, but you could also just look at something like Goatius Maximus. If this goes on another pump, if it breaks 80 cents and even goes towards $1, that is a time where all these AI agent derivative plays and even some of these primary infrastructure plays are all going to begin its next pump. Over the last week, I mean, all of this has been cooling down, but I do think there is still some big potential here. And I'd recommend you guys to screenshot this list or add this to your own watch list. And we'll revisit this. I don't know when, but we are going to revisit it in the future. And I would not be surprised if a majority of these picks could have already done a multiple 2 to 3x. All right, so basically we just covered how Base is going to be a strong contender within the space. We covered AI agents, but Base is also making huge moves within this whole AI agents narrative. I love this tweet. So 3 reasons why Base is going to be prime contender in agents. Well, number 1, they have the infrastructure in their approach to scaling. They've already built out a ton of Base related projects. They have Coinbase. They have been able to build a good, reputable exchange. They basically have already the developers on payroll in order to push anything AI related forward. Number 2, they are right now building one of the most flourishing ecosystems. I really love what this user here said on X. Base leads in the 3 things that matter the most: composability, liquidity, and app diversity. So think about it like this. You go on Farcaster, which is like a decentralized Twitter to find your favorite restaurant. You book it through one of Base's plays like Blackbird, where you can get access to perks and dining out and all these different things. And if you have Aerodrome, you'd be able to cover and pay for your meal using a Base token. So there is no real way that you can get exposure right now to Based Agent or whatever they're trying to hypothesize. But I believe in the case that regulation eases up over the next few years, we could see more and more Base related plays popping up. But this goes back into the whole idea. Rewind this video a little bit, look into those Base plays. I believe there's going to be massive market share, especially when all the investors who are still sidelined, sleeping on crypto, decide it's time to wake up. All right, so we just covered a ton of plays right now, but I wanted to give you guys just a few projects. If you're maybe trading futures on something like Blowfin or Mexi or BingX, this is one way, at least that I've been able to grow $3,000 to over $100,000, like I mentioned way earlier on in this video. And it's just trading some of these high cap projects. One position that I'd look to open a long on would be Ethereum. I believe Ethereum is significantly undervalued. In the last 1 year, they really haven't made any tremendous gains, but when they do rally, it tends to rally hard. If you remember at the first leg of this year, everyone still needs to buy Ethereum, by the way, to get access to any of these decentralized exchange plays. So if we pull the charts back out to the last 1 year, things don't look that great, especially if we compare where we were in just November. But if you take a look here, when Ethereum rallies, it also rallies really hard. But not only that, it'll go on for many months. So this rally here took place for about 3 whole months. If you had opened along around this point of time, $2,400, which is where we're at now, you would have seen some significant gains. Now, this was only the first leg of this year. If you take a look back to 2021's bull run cycle, it had jumped from $538 to a peak of over $4,000. The upside on Ethereum, I believe, is massive. Now, I know there's FUD that it's so large, Solana's better, it's faster, Ethereum is inflationary. I've heard it time and time. But this right here is a huge sentiment indicator where if everyone's feeling bullish, or half the people in crypto are bullish on the #2 largest crypto, it makes me want to go in. I'm just going to read off one of my posts here that I put it into Kaizen. I know all the attention these days is on Sol and Solana based meme coins, but while it seems like the market sentiment is pretty anti-ETH, this is often times where I believe best bets are made. So number one, all the chains that are building are primarily using Ethereum still as the main network. Now, last cycle when Bitcoin broke through its all-time high, Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin for nearly a full year straight. So when Bitcoin breaks its all-time, this time around, I can see showing strong interest in Ethereum once again upon discovering that it's the #2 crypto. And not only that, but everyone, it seems like, knows about Ethereum. And when you're on exchanges like Robinhood, Webull, and other traditional brokers and Ethereum ETF exposure, this is going to alert millions of investors, aka retail, that Ethereum is trending and they will want to buy in. It was shortly after that, I believe in total profit, I actually closed about $20,000 on this ETH long. But I just want to emphasize the importance that this is definitely still a strong buying opportunity. I would not overlook this crypto just because its market cap is massive. Ethereum is still the most secure network out of all the networks. And that right there is very important. We talked earlier about how the biggest problems in crypto are all these different chains, but the biggest problem outside of that is security. Security in that we've seen projects getting hacked still continuously to this day. We've seen people's wallets getting hacked, and security in crypto, I think, is going to be one of the biggest problems that if we're not able to solve over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, this industry is not going to be able to develop as much as it can. Regardless, I do think Solana is still a contender. I don't want to knock off any of it. You just got to decide what your cup of tea is going to be, because even though Ethereum also did have a rally, think about a rally going from $31 to the peak in 2021 to over $258. This here was massive. And although I believe Ethereum is a safer play and the upside is great, like just look at the comparative chart here. Solana absolutely crushed Ethereum in that it had a 25,000% return, where compared to Ethereum had about less than 2,000% in its return. Now with Solana sitting at about $166, you could find a baby version of Solana. This is Radium, where it's the DEX that you would use to buy some of these other Solana meme coins. This year sitting at under $1 billion market cap. It's at $3.30. And in 2021, it also pumped to $16.48. I think this is also another more conservative play, but something where we could see a rally on if Solana and the markets all begin to pump once more. Last but not least, one thing we cannot neglect is meme coins. Meme coins are still one of the best ways that you can make tremendous gains in crypto. No, they do not have utility, but as the space continues to mature, more and more investors are realizing that a lot of these projects that are just completely VC backed are more traps, are more booby traps where VCs are just unloading on retail investors, where instead these meme coins are oftentimes they're fair launched. They already have all that circulating supply out for the project. Everything is transparent and there is a greater chance of an upside. So one project that I don't want you guys to sleep on is going to be Dogecoin. I know it's crazy. I didn't think I'd be talking about Dogecoin, especially at this point in the cycle, but I made a Discord alert right around when Dogecoin was about.
Dogecoin was the #1 reason why I got into crypto. Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a good coin. There was one guy that became a Dogecoin millionaire, but he didn't sell in time, so he took a loss. But time will come back around, I believe.
14 cents. And I'll just read this to you. So I've been thinking more about what the best risk to reward ratio play is for the election. And I have a few reasons why I think Dogecoin is going to be the play to take a look at. Elon Musk and Trump power combo, considered the #1 meme in the world. Sentiment for Doge is dead, and when Doge rallies, it tends to rally hard, especially in post-election markets. So these two graphs here actually show that Doge multiplies significantly every 1,000 days. And this graph here also shows Doge's performance every post-election rally. Now, I didn't make these graphs. Big shout out to resources over on Twitter. But if we just take a look at that data, guys, I think there is something here. Now, just a heads up, I'm filming this video before we even know who's president. My gut is telling me it's going to be Trump. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Future Brian is wrong. My gut was a little bit off on that. Now, look, I know Doge is rather boring for a lot of people, so sick of this and don't want to hear any more of it. Well, this is where I put together a new watch list of different Dogecoin alternatives. So as you know, some of the other derivatives that we've seen do well, Shiba Inu, it's been popping off. Even Dog with Hat, this is a play we mentioned over 9 months ago. It's sitting at $2 billion in market cap. Every chain seems to have their own dog project. Out of all the memes, dog meme coins perform way better than cat meme coins. They perform better than any lifestyle meme coins like that we've seen. And I'm still bullish on Lock-In and Sigma, but I believe that if you're able to find the next $1 billion meme coin and you're able to get in early, that's when you can score big. So out of all the projects that I mentioned, the one that I think has the potential here is going to be Ski Mask Dog. This year is an absolute sleeper. I've been looking at the top holders. The people that have the most Ski is only 4 wallet addresses. They had $60,000 or $30,000 of this. But here's my bull pick. So Dog with Hat was off Solana's network. The people that have the most Ski is only 4 wallet addresses here. That's when you can score big. So out of all the projects that I mentioned, the one that I think has the most potential here is going to be Ski Mask Dog. This year,
Yeah, my charger. Oh. If the laptop doesn't die, shit's getting good. Got it. Okay, perfect.
here is an absolute.
I'm thinking this guy's a goat. This guy's one of the goats. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tesla, Google, Dogecoin, Ski Mask Dog. CC. Okay.
Absolute sleeper. I've been looking at the top holders. The people that have the most ski is only 4 wallet addresses. They had $60,000 or $30,000 of this. But here's my bull pick. So Dog with Hat was off of Solana's network. We saw everyone, even right now.
Bro, Dog with Hat, I'm investing. Anything that nigga says, I'm investing in. Not every single one, but like maybe every single one actually over time. Bro, I'm here plugging the laptop into itself to charge. Like, what the fuck? Bro.
Now, I'm seeing people within crypto still having the little Dog with hat because you can just pretty much memeify anything. I think Ski Mask Dog is going to be the next reiteration of that. This here is going to be the dog of base. There are a ton of dogs, by the way, that I've seen, but this is the one similar to Dog with Hat where you can pretty much add this meme to anything. You're using a ski mask. It elevates the meme even further. It goes from using a hat to a mask. And in today's culture, we've seen with Gen Z or rappers, and even my random friend, Nate O'Brien, he got me a ski mask a few years in this whole trip to Canada to compete for $10,000. All right, so why am I so bullish on ski or Ski Mask Dog? So like I said, this is going to be the base version with early still right now. This never really had a true pump. Base is going to continue to pick up. And if you go on their Twitter, what you'll notice it says ski_CTO. You know what CTO means? This is basically good. Community takeover is what it stands for. And this is the next new meta. Community takeovers flush out the old investors who got their profits, and it allows for a fresh new batch of people in the second phase. So literally, this is as fair launch as a project gets because it means that the community has fully taken over the project. They've regained the control. Someone in the community is the one that is handling all the Twitter posts and even what's going on in their Telegram. And it allows for true decentralization, the point of crypto, to kick in. Look, I'm going to ride this as high as I can go for this bull run. I always want to have one low market cap, strong high pick play here. And we take a look at the charts. It doesn't seem like it can get any better than this. I know kids these days, the Gen Zers, they love saying their little gang stuff and that one trendy TikTok, Instagram reel song that goes ski. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to do that again. But I think there truly is a virality effect. I think we're very early. We are some of the first people moving in on this. And the fact that you can literally buy these ski masks for just $35 and have everyone else do the marketing or put this on your own dog, this here is going to be massive. There's also a lot of similarities with this project and with WIF. Similar to WIF, it's a 3-letter word. Guys, I just think ski masks, they're a step above a hat. It's a cool accessory. They are funny for most people as long as you're not using it in the wrong way. And right now, ski is not even listed on most tier 1 or tier 2 exchanges. So if it ever happens to get that listing on Coinbase, I think that's going to be massive. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap up the video here. If you made it this far till the end, I just want to say thank you. If it's able to do just any fraction of what it was to do in the first part of 2024, I think there's going to be a lot of millionaires being made. I've been in business. I've started many different kinds of businesses. I was in drop shipping, Amazon FBA, had my own marketing agency. Nothing has been easier than being able to get in crypto and make money within this market here. Now, I'm a little biased. I have had a lot of experience. I've also lost a lot of money before being able to make money within the crypto markets. So, but regardless, when the markets do heat up, easy mode turn on, and I think a lot of you guys are going to be able to truly change your lives. That being said, just know all the tokens that I mentioned today, there was no KOL deal, no vested thing that some of these other YouTubers will do. All of these are just based on my research, what I would personally buy and what I genuinely think will do well throughout the course of this bull run. Like always, I can always be wrong. Follow me blindly. Don't go all in on ski just because I think it's going to do well. You always have to make your own educated guess for yourself. Now, to wrap this video up, I want to give out a verse real quick and just give you guys a quick call to action, and it's entirely up to you if you want to take it. First is going to be Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. This verse here encourages patience, wise planning, and diligence. And these are qualities that are especially valuable for anyone investing into the crypto market. This year is just my reminder to you as well. Always be thoughtful about making your decisions and try avoid rush pursuit of just making quick money. And that I see wanting to make fast money is usually the ones who get wrecked and lose it all. After that, they want to just start blaming everyone for it. With that said, our analysts have been doing an incredible job within Kaizen. I've also been doing my live streams in there, my research reports, and a ton of my different buy alerts. Not only that, but our members have been kicking butt with a lot of these plays. And I've even seen some members who are able to make a couple 1,000% gainers as if it was nothing. So look, if you're looking for a good community, I might be a little biased here, but I think we have one of the best communities in all of crypto. Check out Kaizen. We have the Kaizen Lite membership if you're a little hesitant on joining a community like this where you can test the water for literally $1 a day. If you haven't also done this yet, check out the other links down below in the description for Blowfin, Moonshot, and Coinbase. If you are looking to get into crypto, you're gonna need a reputable, trusted exchange to use. These are the ways that I'm personally buying my crypto, and this is what I've been using to make a lot of these gains. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah.
That was proper, guys. We learned a great YouTuber and great information. I'll end the live and start the Kaizen live on my sister's laptop, which should process the video faster and not be so glitchy. See you guys in 5 minutes or less.